listening to the Career Directions. I'm Vijay. I'm the host of today's episode. If you want to know more about me, please go into the descriptions and you will find my LinkedIn profile there. You could know more about me. Along with me, I have Mr. Prakash, a very experienced professional and a speaker. Welcome to the episode, Mr. Prakash. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Sara Bohid, and she's joining all the way from Denmark, a very skilled and highly talented project manager.
Thank you for inviting me to attend this podcast and having me. I look forward to talking with both of you.
Sara, to start with the episode, can you tell us what is project management and who is a project manager?
So project management, it's a lot of multitasking, I would say. And to be a project manager, you need to be able to handle a lot of different things at the same time while keeping your cool. It's both people, projects, different tasks, a lot of opinions, and you have to navigate that while just staying ahead, staying afloat of it all. And I still enjoy it, even though it can be very stressful. So I manage two bigger projects in the work package that I work with. And I have I have project team members, so main stakeholders in the project team. It's a very international global project that I work on. So it's many different time zones. I think we have 4 different time zones that I work with. So it's a mix of emails, a lot of meetings related to the project, and a lot of planning as well, planning ahead. So I think my day is not so typically necessarily like what it contains, or at least with meetings and emails, but what the topic is that changes from day to day. You could say there's a new problem to be solved every day.
What is something you would like to give to the young entrepreneurs, young women who are seeking to get into a project manager position or a project management role? Because you said you got into 4 years now on the project management, but that's not a small or a easy journey to reach out in a male-dominated department or a role. Is there something that you can describe or tell about how the journey started after your graduation to reach to this project manager position?
Yes. So after I graduated as a pharmacist. I was very open to what I wanted to become. So I didn't have like a clear mind on what I exactly wanted to work with, because it's a bit limited what you do during your studies versus what is actually out there in the industry and in the real world. I knew for once that I didn't want to be a pharmacist and work in a pharmacy, but I wanted to do something in the pharmaceutical industry. So I had a very open mind, and I applied in a smaller company in Denmark. It's big globally, but it had a small presence here in Denmark. And then I was fortunate to get my first position there and start a job. I think I was also lucky, you could say, that the manager I had at the time was a woman and a pharmacist. So I guess she knew a bit, like she's found some similarities with herself in me. So that was, a good opportunity. So in that way, I could say I've been fortunate to work with a lot of women in project management. At least my experience has been like that. And also in the current position I have now, it's been a good mix. It's actually been very diverse in regards to the genders. And also first I started off with a male manager, now I have a female manager. So I haven't experienced necessarily any trouble with being a woman in the field. And I think it also comes a bit with how, as a person, just tackling the things with an open mind. Also the problems that arise.
Maybe just jumping on to that, is there any example? You said that from a non-dominant project manager now today to a dominant manager. How do you see the transformation for you? With any examples that you have struggled in any meetings, convincing someone this is what you could deliver, because or else the project would have been not achieved something?
So I could say before, as a person, I'm trying to make everyone happy. And that's a difficult task in a project because someone will be unhappy. Either they have to work faster or they have to compromise on something they need to do more work compared to others or something like that. So for me, my biggest challenge has been to make everyone happy, because that's what I strive to do in projects, because that's also makes them on board and gives a successful project. So before, I think it had more like a consequence on myself that I was not that I was this kind of people pleaser, because that would mean that I would have to do more or work under more stress to make everyone happy and to achieve the project goals. Whereas now I think I'm better at evenly distributing the things, and also not everyone necessarily needs to be happy, because every person has their own bias. But what is the most important part of the project? It is that the project goals are met. So how do we achieve that, and how do we get everyone on board for that? So I also try to base my decisions in my project based on data and not necessarily personal opinions or what has worked best for some people before, because we come from very different backgrounds, from the industry, different experiences, and we all have to deliver into one project now coming from these different backgrounds. So for me, it's trying to understand everyone's needs and try to work based on that, but having the
Awesome.
project in focus.
But working on a different culture, with the different time zones that you have been working on, there might be a lot of conflicts that you would have experienced. That might be a day-to-day job. It might be at least a 30 minutes in a day that you might spend some time resolving two other colleagues' problem. How do you manage the conflicts within the team? Is there anything that you would advise young starting project management professionals to look at or learn or develop their skills on the conflict management?
I would say working with different time zones, you also need a lot of cultural intelligence. So read into that as well. Know your stakeholders. So what background they come from, because people from Denmark are very different than people from, let's say, China or somewhere else. It's very different cultural backgrounds. And that's also something you can see in a work setting because of how the system is in the different countries. So with my project, I work with a lot of stakeholders from China, US, Brazil, France, and some people are more dominant than others, some countries, and I try to make sure that every voice is heard, and that it might be not comfortable for everyone to be on the spot doing a meeting, but then I will take them on a one-to-one meeting afterwards, just to make sure that we also get their point of view, but also try to enable environment where everyone feels safe enough to talk and express their opinions, even though that they may face some rejection or different opinions.
You started as a pharmacist, but then you later transformed into a project manager, right? But again, this learning curve and stepping into this new role and becoming a project manager is not an easy job, as Mr. Prakash said, right? It needs a lot of dedications and also a lot of learning. How does this learning curve happen to you, and what are the skills that you thought, okay, I need to develop in this skills because I'm into new profession of project manager? There's a lot of stakeholders, timing zones, as you said, culturals, environments, conflict management. What are the skills that you developed to become as project manager? What are the skills that you suggest the young professionals to develop before they step into this industry and after they step in and doing this ramp up curve, right?
So I would say communication is very important. Being able to communicate clearly without any misunderstanding. So that's you spend a lot of time in the beginning when you write an email, just reading through it and making sure that everything cannot be misunderstood. I think also for me, because it has been a very steep learning curve, and I've kind of just been thrown into it and learning along the way on some parts, because I didn't have a project management certificate before I started. So it's been a lot of learning by doing, meaning that I've made mistakes But I think the important thing is that you can reflect on your mistakes and use that experience to not do the same error again. And again, it's also you basically need to be very organized in your project, even though that everything might be burning in the background, but you should not let it affect others in your team. So that's the task of a project manager, to handle that and protect their project team members. So I don't work as a project manager who's dictating what everyone should do. The way that I do it is by listening, and I think that's what I've at least experienced has been what's been working best, without having any creating conflicts in the team. Of course, there will be disagreements with me or with other team members, but as long as you are able to keep your cool and resolve them in a professional way, and also being able to communicate why is it we do what we do, I think that's been very important. So I would say communication is one of the most important things, and then keeping your cool.
Fantastic insights. I think it's going to give a lot of insights or energy for young students, and particularly when women who seek, because they might think project management might not be a job that is on for their skills, but I think your insights would definitely motivate them. But as a final question, is there any personal note that you would always look from your bag or a laptop that motivates you, keeps you on this position, or motivates you every time to succeed on any projects? Is there any final advice that you would like to give to the audience?
Yeah, I think so. It's a bit of like being a nice person, and just like in the end of the day, just treating people as you wanted to be treated. That's one thing that I use a lot in project management as well, and in my projects. So that's that view I have. If I treat other people well, then I'll also be treated well. It's kind of like that karma. Good things come to those who do good, if you could say.